I'm Chef Resa Solomon, St. Louis. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm excited to share with you a delicious shore lunch. What do I mean by a shore lunch? We're going to enjoy some spicy salmon bites, a delicious Greek-style watermelon-infused salad, and to top it all off, a mojito spritzer. You can have it with or without the rum, and we'll talk about some different ways to enjoy that. But let's get started with what we've got from the farmer's market. We're excited to have some wonderful finds from Ottawa street markets. We have some delicious peppers here, fresh from the farm. Look at these carrots. You know they're from a local farm. And we've also got a couple of varieties of lettuce. So I'll just move our olive oil out and our vinegars for a second. We have a red butter lettuce, and then we have a lovely crispy curly green lettuce. I can't wait to enjoy those in our Greek salad. And of course, we've got some fantastic olive oils. These olive oils are special because not all olive oils are alike. So we've got a delicious Greek style traditional olive oil that has been curated for us from the unrefined olive in Ottawa. And the thing is that olive oil, of course, is a very healthy oil that we want to cook with as much as possible. It's zero trans fat. However, what we also want to do is think about the different regions and some of the different components that might be influencing the flavors of our olive oils and our dishes. So I like to cook a lot of the time with white balsamics because there's a little bit more of a sweetness to them. So we're going to be using two different kinds today, and I'm excited to share those flavors with you. And we'll get to cooking in just a second.
In the Kitchen with Resa is sponsored by Bacchanal. Taste the Caribbean lifestyle, award-winning food, catering, take-home, foodie gifts, and more. Located at 1805 Gaspé Avenue, and visit them online at bacchanal.com. Fresh produce and eggs featured on In the Kitchen with Resa are sponsored by Ottawa Street Markets. Visit them at ottawastreetmarkets.ca for info on home delivery, citywide pickup points, and neighborhood marketplaces. Meat and poultry featured on In the Kitchen with Resa is sponsored by The Piggy Market, an artisanal bakery, deli, craft butcher shop in Ottawa's Westboro neighborhood, and several local farmers markets. Visit them at thepiggymarket.com to learn more.
Hi, I'm Paula Roy, and it's my pleasure to welcome you back into my kitchen for another season of Paula Roy's Favorite Foods. My approach to food is pretty straightforward. Fancy is fine, but when you're in a time crunch or have a really hungry and patient family to feed, I say simple recipes made with wholesome ingredients that you probably have on hand are the best. And that's exactly what you'll find on Paula Roy's Favorite Foods on Rogers TV.
I just think everything about it. I think it's the hardest sport in the world.
You can see it in the players. You can see it in their eyes as they come off the ice and just how intense of a battle it is.
1, 2, 3, go! Everything happens so fast out there. I guess it is like war sometimes.
Waking up at 6 a.m. 4 times a week to come into practice, it can weigh on you.
I mean, hockey in so many ways is an escape from your everyday life.
It's a new season of The New Fly Fisher on Rogers TV.
So we're ready to get started with our delicious shore lunch. Who doesn't love a nice, beautiful fillet of fresh salmon? I love to get my salmon with skin on because I love the delicious crunch that we get when we fry up that skin of the salmon in the pot. So I've already cleaned my fish, and the way that I clean it is just soaking it in a little bit of cold water and then using some type of acid, usually vinegar or lemon, and just rinsing it with that so that just kind of to take away a little bit of that fishy taste. I mean, it's all a preference, but that's my preference. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be making some spicy salmon bites. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to just cut up the salmon, and I'm going to do mine stovetop, but this is actually a delicious option. It's a delicious option if you want to put it into your air fryer. So many people have air fryers these days, and that's also super simple. A great way to enjoy fresh fish quickly and easily. So you know what? One thing at Bacchanal is, even though Caribbean food is very flavorful, we pack a lot of flavor into our spice blends. So we're just going to do this with a simple seasoning, and this is a lot of what we do in terms of our foundation spices, and that is sea salt and our signature spice blend. I'm just going to grab a bowl, and I'm going to drop these little chunks of salmon. You can see they're about 1 inch by 1.5 inch square. And I'm going to pop these little chunks of salmon into the bowl. And we're going to season it with a very simple base of sea salt. Okay. And also, take off my glove here for a moment. This is our signature spice blend. So we're going to generously apply that. We're just going to get right in there, give it a vigorous rub, because you know what? I don't always have time to marinate my fish or my meat or whatever I'm marinating overnight in advance. And of course, if you want the maximum flavor, you want to try and do that. But instead, I just give it a really good massage and work it in there. That works just as well. And in our spice blend, you can see that we've got some smoked paprika, we have crushed red chilies, oregano, there's black pepper, of course garlic powder, onion powder. So it's and a little bit of allspice. So it's very flavorful, and so that's why we only need our sea salt and our spice blend. And if you want to use something like any type of steak spice or whatever spice you prefer, that's fine. Ours does not have salt in it, because then it allows me to control the amount of salt that I'm going to be putting in my food. So I'm just going to bring this over to the stove, and we're going to fry this up, and you'll see how quickly we can get this spicy salmon bite ready. So this is a perfect dish to use olive oil, because the salmon is going to cook very quickly, so we won't have to worry too much about the smoke point. Just going to check. We want to make sure that the pot is a little bit warm before we put our olive oil in. I'm going to be generous with it because I do want to get a good little crust on that. Let me just test it with a little piece and see if the oil is ready. Oh, not quite. So you can also use canola oil if you prefer. I like olive oil because I like the additional flavor that we get from olive oil. And so what I'm going to do right now is, I can see that that little piece of fish is starting to crackle. Yep, and so we can just hear the sound of the fish hitting the pan, and we know that it is ready to cook. You know, fish is mostly water, so it's going to cook super fast. Just going to give that a little bit of, just coat it a little bit. Okay, turn up the heat, and we should be able to pan fry this fairly quickly. I'm going to keep this other spatula until it's close to done. And what we can start to see is, as the fish is starting to cook, you'll notice that it's changing color. So just keep an eye on it. We don't want to overcook it. We do have a couple of pieces that are quite small, so these ones will keep an extra quick eye on. So we're cooking them. You can really smell the fragrance. All of the spices coming together. So it's starting to caramelize a little bit. I just got a little bit of a pop of oil, so I know that I need to turn it down a little bit. But really, they're cooking beautifully, very fast. You know, you can use other kinds of fish as well. A mahi-mahi would be delicious for this. You could also go with something like a bassa fillet if you like that. You could also try trout if you prefer. I probably would not go with haddock or cod because it's just that this type of fish is a little bit more flavorful, and you really want to kind of get that flavor out in the type of dish that we're doing. You know, we want to have some strong flavors that are going to complement the beautiful watermelon Greek salad that we'll be putting together in a couple of minutes. And of course, if you did not want to use any type of fish at all, you could also go with something like a seasoned tofu. So you could marinate the tofu just like we seasoned the fish, but I would definitely recommend leaving that overnight covered in the fridge so you could get those flavors in, and then that way you have the basis for a completely vegan dish. And one thing that I'll just point out too in terms of this method of pan frying and pan searing is that it's gluten-free. So for those of us or those of you that want to take that option to have an option that has lower carbs, you know, there you go. So those are pretty much ready. You see how quickly we were able to pan sear that salmon, and take a look at that. Isn't that color absolutely beautiful? So what we can do is we can turn that off. We're going to get ready to prepare our salad while that cools down. So now we're ready to make our Greek salad. Definitely one of my faves growing up. I grew up in Montreal and we had delicious Greek salads. We would have actually a fantastic salad buffet with all of the trimmings. So excited to make this today. So I'm just going to cut up a pepper and you know, you can use whatever pepper you like. I personally prefer sweet peppers, so I like red or orange usually. And I'm just going to trim the inside, get out all the seeds quickly. Great. I'm a little bit lazy about that sometimes. I just cut it out. Okay, but you can do whatever you like. You can leave them in or you can just pull them out manually. Whatever you want to do is absolutely fine. It's your kitchen. This is my kitchen today. So, all right, we want some fairly large chunks so that we can, it's really kind of like a Greek salad. It's a little bit like a chopped salad, really. We want to enjoy those nice, beautiful pieces of our fresh peppers, especially when we can get access to all of this right here in our region in Ontario. All right, so, and then what we'll also be adding to this is some cucumber. I love a red onion. Again, a little bit of a hint of sweetness. I think that's a good amount for the salad that we have. And so, again, now we have to remove the onion skin. I would say a lot of people, you know, they might say they cry when they're cutting onions. I don't know, maybe being a chef for a number of years, the lining of my eyes burnt out. I don't know, but I don't cry anymore from onions. So I'm just going to, what I did was I just peeled off the top and the bottom, and it just makes it a little bit easier to remove the rest of the skin. So now what I'm going to do is I like to do it like a little bit of an MSA or very thin cut for my onions in Greek salad. So we're almost done there. Don't need too much. I mean, if you're my husband, you can never have enough raw onion. Thanks very much. Not really. But again, you know, when you're cooking, it's all about making it the way that you want to cook it. So you make it to your own taste. So here's something I used to get into trouble with a little bit at chef school. I was a very good student in chef school, but I don't like to take a lot of time to chop garlic. So what I do is I just wrap it up which is not the way that you're supposed to do it in chef school. I like to wrap it up and just pound it with something like a mallet or a bottle carefully. You don't want to smash the bottle. And then there you go, easy peasy. The garlic is peeled, and now what I'm going to do is just mince this, because you can use garlic powder if you like, or dried garlic flakes, but I really do like the beautiful flavor that we get from fresh garlic. So it's a little bit husky there. Just going to go and mince that garlic, and then you know what we're going to do? We are going to add this to our bowl. So we have our bowl here, and what we're going to do is drop the freshly minced garlic in there, and I'm going to take a little bit of sea salt, and I'm going to rub the inside of the bowl, really season it really nicely. I like to kind of build it as a bit of a layer. Okay, then I'm going to put in some nice fresh onion. Again, mix that in so everything is nicely seasoned. And then I'm going to go next with my peppers. Okay, we'll make a little bit of room. So now we've got peppers, onions, garlic, and some sea salt. Next, we've got some nice chunky tomatoes, beautiful, fresh. I love vine-ripened tomatoes. I don't know, there's a bit of a theme here. I like the tangy and the sweet. So vine-ripened tomatoes, nice sweet bell peppers. Already it's looking amazing, awesome. We're going to add in our cucumbers. And I'm just going to correct that with a little bit of salt again. And I think I have some nice freshly cracked pepper that I'm going to add to this. Let me see if I have some in my kitchen. Of course I have some in my kitchen. Just give me a quick second. All right, so we're going to add in some fresh cracked pepper here. Already I'm loving the colors. And you know what? I wear gloves because, believe it or not, even though I'm a chef that cooks with a lot of different things, I'm allergic to a lot of raw things. So I have to be a little bit careful sometimes when I'm cooking. So you'll see me wearing gloves when I'm going to be contacting food. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in these beautiful lettuces that we got from the farmer's market. We'll start adding those. And I'm going to save this. All right. How's it looking so far? I think we're missing something. Do you know what it is? Well, this is a salad, and we haven't added any type of acid. So what we're going to do is first we're going to start with our lovely olive oil. This is a Greek olive oil, so perfect for the dish that we're making today. Just going to drizzle that. I mean, I love the taste of olive oil, so, you know, really, again, it's one of those things that's to taste. And now you have two choices. You could use fresh lemon, which would be a beautiful acid contrast to the olive oil, or you can use vinegar. I'm going to go with a white balsamic vinegar. And I'm going to, again, just toss it before we get to the end. So in this one, I decided not to put olives, but you can put olives. That would be traditional. Go ahead and add those olives. And now what I'm going to do is, here's a little difference. A little bit of watermelon. Nice crispy watermelon, so beautiful this time of year. And I'm going to add in some feta. I love a Greek feta cheese, of course. And we're going to just tear off a couple sprigs of fresh oregano. You know, I love to keep some of this in the kitchen, as long as I can keep it, because I'm not actually that green of a thumb, but I'm learning. And there we have it. This is our watermelon Greek salad.
In the Kitchen with Resa is sponsored by Bacchanal. Taste the Caribbean lifestyle, award-winning food, catering, take-home, foodie gifts, and more. Located at 1805 Gaspé Avenue, and visit them online at bacchanal.com. Fresh produce and eggs featured on In the Kitchen with Resa are sponsored by Ottawa Street Markets. Visit them at ottawastreetmarkets.ca for info on home delivery, citywide pickup points, and neighborhood marketplaces. Meat and poultry featured on In the Kitchen with Resa is sponsored by The Piggy Market, an artisanal bakery, deli, craft butcher shop in Ottawa's Westboro neighborhood, and several local farmers markets. Visit them at thepiggymarket.com to learn more.
So we're ready to eat our delicious Greek salad, and these flavors are going to be really complemented by a fantastic mojito. So we've got our muddler. It's optional, but you can get one. I love to use one. We've got some fresh lime and mint. Just going to use the muddler here. It's a great way to release the natural oils. And I've got about 10 or 12 sprigs of mint in here. And I made a mint infused syrup. I like mine with brown sugar, so keep that in there. And give that a little mix. And I've got some fantastic Angostura 1919 rum. My family's originally from Trinidad and Tobago, so of course I love the Angostura. Mix that up further. And now what I'm going to do is throw in some nice crushed ice and some sparkling water. Give that another stir, top it up with a little bit of Angostura bitters for some color. And I think the only thing left to say is cheers, and thank you for joining me in my kitchen.